You see a man standing alone and think he's lonely. Cute. The mob taught you to measure worth by how many shadows clap when you speak. But the solitary one, he's counting something else. The deals he didn't make, the appetites he didn't feed, the bridges he burned on purpose. So there's no path back to weakness. He doesn't announce himself because the loud ones need a choir to drown out their doubts. He keeps quiet because silence is a blade, and he's learned to sharpen it on his own bones. You won't see his scars. That's the joke. People like you want proof stamped on skin, bandages, bruises, a confession, a sob story posted at midnight for sympathy likes. He keeps his proof in the cellar of his soul, the place where the floorboards creak with names he refuses to be again. He trained there, ate there, bled there, alone. And when a man seasons himself with that kind of hunger, he stops needing your approval and starts enjoying your fear. He's not dangerous because he hates you. He's dangerous because he doesn't need you. Dependency is the leash around most throats. He chewed through his, swallowed the metal, and learned to like the taste. The crowd can't pull what it can't tether. You call it isolation. He calls it leverage. So you're watching him alone, unbothered, uninvited, and you wonder what keeps him upright when there's no applause to prop him up. Simple. He's made a covenant with the dark. Not the dark that hides monsters. The dark that makes mirrors. He's seen himself without excuses and decided to stay. Demons don't knock. They move in and start rearranging the furniture. They put shame where your spine should be, stack regret where your lungs need to breathe. Most people host them, then complain about the mess. This man, he charges rent, payable in discipline, interest compounding daily. You can call that cruelty. He calls it housekeeping. He fought in silence, not because he's shy, but because sound ruins precision. In that hush, his fears babbled. He cut their microphone. In that hush, his cravings screamed. He starved them until they whispered, please. He learned the schedule of his temptations like a prison guard checking cells. At 2 a.m., the anxiety rattles the bars. At 4 a.m., the apathy fakes an illness. At noon, the vanity demands a parade. He logged it all. Turned demons into data, data into orders, orders into obedience. That's the win you can't measure. You want trophies, he collects obeyed commands. You tilt toward comfort, he tilts toward consequence. When guilt tried to prosecute him, he showed up as judge, jury, and executioner and acquitted the weak man he used to be by killing the version that wouldn't stand trial. That's not violence, that's governance. You think he's cold. He is. Cold keeps meat from rotting. He froze the parts of himself that begged for handouts and thawed them only long enough to learn why they screamed. Then back into the ice. They went until they could sit still and behave. When you meet him now, you meet a parliament of mastered impulses. They still mutter, they just don't vote. The crowd says, wait your turn. He says, I don't stand in lines for doors I can kick open. The crowd says, be realistic. He replies, reality is the cheapest excuse sold in bulk. The crowd says, tell us what you're doing. He grins, no. Not out of secrecy, but out of respect for craft, for timing, for the quiet kiln, where ordinary clay hardens into something that can't be reshaped by sticky fingers. There's a rhythm to standing alone, wake before the world and steal the hours they waste. train while they argue about which shoes to buy. Build while they comment on what other people built. It's not glamorous. It's arithmetic. Effort compounded by indifference to gossip equals outcomes that look like magic to spectators who never learned to count. He's dangerous because he can walk away from applause, from comfort, from the counterfeit friendships that taste like sugar and rot like teeth. He measures relationships by friction. If it doesn't spark, it's just wool. He keeps few people, not because he's better, but because he refuses to be worse. He would rather miss the party than bury another piece of his integrity beneath the confetti. And the scars, still hidden. Not to trick you, to protect the altar where he learned to pray with action. Wounds advertise, scars instruct. He doesn't owe you a syllabus for his survival. He owes the future a masterpiece. And masterpieces are carved in studios with locked doors. Payne is a professor with a cruel attendance policy. Skip class and the lesson repeats louder. He stopped skipping. He sat front row, took notes, and when Payne asked a question, he raised his hand and answered with a rep. A mile, a page, a day sober, a day silent, a day steady. Over time, Payne stopped humiliating him and started hiring him as a teaching assistant. Do you know what changes a man? Not lightning bolts, not viral moments. Repetition. The prayer said when no one hears it. The set finished when the hands shake. The apology made to the mirror and paid in routine. He learned that the soul isn't sculpted by inspiration. It is carved by itinerary. So he wrote one. And then he obeyed it until the calendar learned his name like a dog learning its master. He's faced his demons and won, not once but daily until victory got bored of being exceptional and settled into habit. That's the real danger, not the explosion, the erosion. He erodes weakness the way water erodes stone. Patient, relentless, unimpressed by hardness. You can resist water for a while. Then you look up, and the canyon spells his initials. The world loves redemption arcs that crescendo in fireworks. He prefers dim basements where a single bulb hums and a man becomes unrecognizable to the version of himself that loved shortcuts. That's the curriculum. Bell rings at dawn. Final exam at dusk, no summer break, no sick days. Extra credit available in discomfort only. Here is the punchline. The man who stands alone isn't auditioning for your fear. He's auditioning for his destiny. If fear shows up anyway, that's your problem. An allergic reaction to someone who chose responsibility over ritual. Call him dangerous, because danger is the word the unprepared use when they meet the disciplined. He doesn't threaten. He announces without words. His posture says, I buried my chaos in chores. His eyes say, I ate my excuses and learned the taste of steel. The silence says, I am not here to be seen. I am here to be undeniable. And if that unsettles you, it's because your demons are checking their watches, wondering when you'll finally give them the same treatment. So what now? You want his edge? Don't chase his story. Chase his solitude. Turn off the orchestra of opinions. Cancel the subscription to spectacle. Sit with your ghosts until they look away first. Write your orders. Obey them. Miss the party. Keep the promise. Bleed in private. Heal in practice. Hide your scars, not out of shame, but out of reverence for the altar, where you learn to build without witnesses. A man who stands alone is a very dangerous man. Not because he's wild, but because he's domesticated the wild inside. Because he can be counted on when the crowd miscounts itself. Because he's faced his demons alone, one And he keeps winning while everyone else negotiates theirs in public. You'll never see his scars. You'll only see the distance growing between where you wished you were and where he decided to be.